Right at the outset, there's one key point that I'd like you to focus on. So if I could request you to also pay very, very close attention here. I don't think that anything else is more important than this point that I'm going to sort of put out here. This is social media, okay? And this is rocket science. There is no reason for anybody in this room today to believe that social media is rocket science, okay? It's really, really easy once you get the basics of it and start understanding not just how to use your Facebook and Twitter pages, but also the sort of content that your audience wants to hear. So, really. Oh, and this of course is smarter. So, the first thing I'd like to talk about is what exactly is content? Does anybody have a thought on what exactly is social media content or content in general?
Something you consume.
Yeah, something you consume.
Something that engages.
Something that engages. Communication.
Something that adds
Informative.
value.
Informative.
Something that adds value.
Absolutely, something that adds value. The way I like to look at content is that content is anything that gets people coming back for more and helps you open up a dialogue with those people. And it could be in various forms. It could be text content that you read. It could be video content that you watch. It could be a song that you hear or a podcast that you hear. It could be a game that you play or an app that you use. It could be on your laptop, it could be on your desktop, it could be on your mobile phone, it could be on your iPod, it could be on a multitude of devices, it may not even be on a device. Okay? You pick up the Times of India every morning because it provides you good content. You keep going back to the Times of India. Okay? That is the sort of essential nature of what the base of social media content is all about. And what we talk about going forward is how to build content that spans all of this. The not so secret formula, what you say plus how you say it is equal to the content that you create. So what you say is basically the matter that you want to talk about, and the real innovation comes in how you say it. Do you want to say it using a video? Do you want to say it by building a game? Do you want to say it by running a contest? Do you want to say it by putting out a bunch of tweets? It's the combination of these two factors, honestly, that make up social media content. We'll start with the what you say bit. The way I tend to look at the brands that we run, okay, there is, I sort of like divide it into two little pieces. There is daily content in a sense that we put out every day for our brands. So that people who visit our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter get content on an everyday basis that adds value to their lives. And then there is what we call, what I would look at as occasion-led content. It could be content that you need to put out when you launch a new product, when you have a promotional offering or a sale or a discount, when you want to give away something, when you add a new service feature, or when you just have something new to say about yourself. If you're opening a new shop somewhere or a new factory somewhere, okay? And something that you want to make a big deal out of. So those are the sort of two types broadly of content that you will be putting out. The challenge, of course, remains, how do I innovate in each of these? How do I make my daily content brilliant and engaging? How do I take it to yet another level when I do my big activities, my occasion-led activities? The question I would like each of you to answer today is, if you were your audience, okay, and I'm not saying consumer here, right? There is a difference between being a consumer and being an audience. Your consumer is the person you hope will buy. The audience is the person at large that you happen to engage with across Twitter and Facebook and other social platforms. Your audience is looking for entertainment, your consumer is looking for a purchase. Your audience is typically digital audiences are looking for three things. Entertainment, what do you guys do online? You're browsing YouTube, you're faffing on Facebook or Twitter, uploading photos from a birthday party, so on and so forth. Entertainment, you're looking for information, Google search. You're looking for utility, which could be any of those millions of sites that you visit, whether it's a cleartrip.com, whether it's a bookmyshow.com or a quicker.com, something that adds value to you. Put yourself in your audience's shoes. What can I give my audience that either entertains them, informs them, or gives them a utility that they will keep using over and over again? And in two ways. What are the things that they expect me to do, and what are the things that they will be delighted and pleasantly surprised to see me do? Let me give you an example. Let me say that one of you is, that you guys say are following the Maruti Suzuki page on Facebook. What would you expect to find from this brand page? You would expect to find information about all their latest products, their vehicles, the Alto, the Swift, the Desire, etc. You'd like to know about the features that they have, about the mileage that they offer. You'd like to know about the price. You'd like to know about sales. You'd like to know about value adds, about free add-ons that you can get. You'd like to know about where to buy. Okay, where's the closest dealer? How do I book a test drive? You might even offer them the functionality as Maruti of booking a test drive through my Facebook or Twitter. If I have a concern, oh, my AC is not working, what do I do? If I post that concern on the page, then I expect Maruti to respond. These are the expected. How you say the expected is important, and you can't sort of reduce the emphasis on that. But now I will ask you, what would you be delighted to see Maruti talk to you about, which you did not expect?
Free car.
Sorry?
Free car.
Free car. Maybe some of you would be delighted if Maruti talked about motorsports. Okay, if Maruti was your window to the world of automotive sport. Maybe you would be delighted if Maruti featured great concept cars from all over the world. Maybe you would be delighted if Maruti did a little web series of, like a web-based television show, which was like, say, Knight Rider. Those of us who used to watch it years ago. Maybe you would be delighted if Maruti ran a contest inviting you to the Indian Grand Prix. Okay, or did a workshop that actually showed you how to change a car tire and basic first aid for your car when you stall. Would that delight you? Yes. Would it be unexpected? To some degree. That is the second challenge. How do we give our audiences content that they do not expect and they get delighted with? So I could go on talking, but then I figured that we could probably have a little more fun if we answered this question together. So we're going to do a little hypothetical exercise where we plan the sort of content that a brand in a particular category would talk about. So I have a tool here that I use called MindNode. It's essentially a mind mapping tool, and I sort of use it when I'm planning my content buckets for any of my brands. So would someone like to offer me a suggestion for what category this hypothetical brand would be in? Restaurant. Other thoughts? Any other thoughts? Watches. Any other thoughts? I'm sorry?
Very difficult to advertise.
Yeah, liquor is a little restricted. Let's take watches. Let's go with watches because it's a product category. It's a physical product that you can, hold and touch and feel.
What's up service which is very difficult?
Sure, we can get into that as well. But when we go through this exercise, we realize that it's not just about the physical product. It's about the service aspect of it as well. So we will cover that. So let's say we're talking about a watch brand. Let's say we're talking about I don't know. Titan. We're talking about the Titan brand on Facebook and Twitter. So let me start asking you guys some questions and then we'll keep adding them to this mind map, adding those answers to the mind map. What would you want to talk about from a product perspective? What would you want to read on a Facebook page from a product perspective? Thoughts? USP. Okay. Product range. Yeah.
Comparison with other products, other brands.
Comparisons. Okay.
Service, after sales service support.
Service support comes in the service category. Somebody mentioned looks. Okay. What else would you like to see on this page?
Style.
Good,
Style,
good.
fashion, trends.
Yes, style, fashion, trends. Excellent point. Now, this is what falls under the editorial sort of a bracket or associated content. Being a watch brand, okay, I don't wear a watch and walk around naked, do I? I wear a watch with a particular look or a particular set of clothes, and the fashion segment is sort of key for us in this case. So I will talk about fashion and style. Yeah, related to my watch brand. Yes. What else could I talk about? What could I talk about in? Why wouldn't I talk about the heritage of the watch? If you were a premium brand of watch like a Patek Philippe, you have a story to tell. You have a centuries-old heritage which you would like to capitalize on. Why would I not talk about the heritage of it? Would I, in editorial content, want to talk about celebrities who wear my watch, who have been spotted in the wild wearing this watch? What other editorial content could I talk about? Could I talk about the history of watchmaking? Or timekeeping? Coming back to the product range, we're still missing a few things, right?
Any super special product, like Titan has a finesse watch, so that separates categories that basically.
Yeah, okay. Categories of watches. Casual, formal, premium, super premium, luxury, everyday, sports. Yes, okay.
Promotions going on.
Sales, yes. Wouldn't I want to tell people where to buy them? So, yes, I will put in a store locator. What else would I talk about?
Accuracy.
Accuracy. Great product. Okay, attributes. So, those will include accuracy, a long-lasting battery.
Yes, consumer feedback.
Consumer feedback. I was waiting for somebody to tell me this. What sort of feedback would you like to feature on your Facebook or Twitter page?
Reviews.
Yes. Testimonials? What else?
An interactive discussion board.
Forums? Only if you have a reason for people to want to get into a discussion about your watch. It's not an IPL team, it's a watch. Do you expect people to get into long discussions over it?
Maybe fashion and
The fashion part, yes, you can have
style part.
style discussions.
For watch, there are forums and people discuss at length.
Fans. On a Facebook page, typically,
And then there are people who are, it's a hobby. A watch collection is a
watch
hobby.
collecting.
It's a hobby.
So, can we actually do content around watch collecting? We're talking about the fashion space. Wouldn't it make sense to perhaps have somebody well known in the business of fashion or style, someone like a designer, to actually run content for us on a weekly or monthly basis. So would I be able to say that this is for lack of a better word, guru speak?
Or ask the specialist.
Yeah, ask the specialist. From time to time, I might hold certain events and activities, right? This is all part of a social media plan. Holding an event is a social occasion, and we've seen time and time again that when you hold an activity on ground and connect it back to a social leg, getting people to tweet about it while they are there, or covering it live on Twitter, or uploading photos constantly from the event to a Facebook page, it creates great content and engagement. So, if I've got activities going on, then I would like to talk about them, I would like to cover them tomorrow. If, say, if Amir Khan is going to be inaugurating a new show and is going to be chatting about watches with a certain lucky bunch of people. So the contest is one side of it. The activity itself, the event itself becomes fantastic content that you can put up on your social media channels. Touched upon contests briefly. What else can we talk about?
Brand ambassador.
Your brand ambassador. Yeah, you can actually have a tab on Facebook dedicated totally to that person. You can cover what he or she is doing, in their own personal lives. If it's a movie star, which is the latest movie? Is your watch brand present over there? Can you create stories around those? For example, if it's a sports brand, if it's a sports person, did he wear your watch on the field or to the ICC awards? Therefore, content that comes out from there. So let's take your brand ambassador is live, professional, activities, the news pieces he generates. What else would you like to talk about as a watch brand?
It's about time.
Sorry?
Time.
Time?
Yeah. Just about time. What time is. The importance of time in life.
Very, very nice. Very nice idea. You can actually create a whole sort of series on this.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of good move. Lot of relevant. I think it breeds in another line of complete content which can be really explored in a different way.
Exactly. That's something you don't expect a watch manufacturer initially to speak. For example, if you were to do a series of stories, fiction videos, which are all about the importance of keeping time. It could be stories about people it could be just stories about time. It could be about going back in time, going forward in time, whatever.
Great books about time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic, unexpected content, right?
Some
Or a
brands.
management guru saying something on time management.
Yeah. So the importance of time sort of covers that as well. What else? What else is there? Do you want to actually show, for example, when you're talking about the product? One more thought. It's a watch, right? How is it made? Great watch brands have been built on the fact that they are handcrafted or crafted with the finest materials or processes.
Process and the technology.
Exactly. So technology and process. What else can we talk about?
The watch is featured many movies, like
Yeah.
Casio or Rolex.
So we measured that, we've already sort of covered that celebrities wearing the watch and within your brand. Yes.
I guess most of these points are from a manufacturer's perspective.
Yeah.
What about the consumer perspective, like price?
Pricing will already be there pretty much covered, but sure, we can add that as a. Typically, though, I must sort of tell you, while people ask you for the price of a product, on Facebook, I think the more important thing, and maybe this is just a personal viewpoint, would be to engage them with the product itself. And I'll touch upon that in a few slides down.
Just to share kind of a different perspective. See, from a large brand's point of view, they might be interested in building, let's say, brand awareness. But from a startup's point of view, if conversion is important, and without the price tag missing, I'm just trying to stretch that thing. Without the price thing missing, wouldn't it actually, it will affect the conversion process? If the customer is not aware of, wouldn't price be, if not implicitly, somehow it has to come.
The price can be mentioned in a conversation. It would be nice to leave it open so that people actually start asking about the price. It's one way to measure interest levels as well. So say if I were to put up a product post on Facebook, okay, which actually had the watch and the price. Supposing I got 50 responses, or 100 responses, or 500 responses. I got a good number. Am I getting the response because of the product or because of its price? Not necessarily. If you look at this category, and I'm just getting into this category, most watch manufacturers never mention the price on their ads. Okay, they only mention it in store, or if you see a magazine. I was flipping through GQ the other day, and it's full of watch ads, and you never see a price tag mentioned. Can you build awareness around the product first, and then sort of use the price to tie in? It's on social media, it's not advertising.
Can we stretch this argument to other categories or services also? I do understand for high-end watch, probably price is not important, but I'm just trying to kind of relate.
Let's take high-end cosmetics. Anybody have a favorite brand of high-end cosmetics?
Hermes.
Sorry?
Hermes.
Okay. Where have you seen their ads? Are you following them on Facebook?
In India, currently we only have them in Bollywood.
Okay, let's take a little more. Okay, take for example a L'Oreal. Sorry? Lancome, L'Oreal. They usually answer the question about price in the comments. The first sort of the advantage that I see in actually not mentioning the price in every product post is that you can gauge interest levels around the product itself and how it is being spoken about. When people start asking, you can always respond and find a way to sort of push the price messaging out. It will be a good thing to talk about price if you're slashing the price. But one point that I'd like to sort of make, and it's something that I believe in. I don't think people are on social media to buy. They're on social media to discover new things and interact with people. And I'd much rather discover a gorgeous product than be sort of hard sold to. And I will sort of touch upon that a little later during the presentation.
What nowadays people do this microchip, so you're running. So
Yes.
there's other ways of engaging.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That you link up with the apps like that, and then gives you calories and stuff.
Absolutely. So there's the Nike, I think you're referring to the Nike Plus Fuel wristband, right?
Yeah.
So tells you the time, tracks your calories, and motivates you to exercise. Something that people all use, I guess. The future of where this technology is going to fall under technology. These are just some of the things that we can talk about, and I'm sure if we spend a few hours brainstorming with our teams on content angles, we'll get a lot of suggestions. We'll get a lot of diverse suggestions. But this is how easy it is to figure out what you want to say. It's not extremely difficult to identify the spaces that you want to operate in, whether they are related to the product or the service, or whether they are the associated areas. So let's take the example of the car category. Okay, if we are handling, say, a brand like Hyundai, as a car brand, I would want to talk about my products as well, but what are the other associated areas? The technology is critical, the way it is made is critical, fuel emission, which leads me to the whole environmental movement side of things. Less pollution, less carbon footprint, less smoke emitted, which would lead me to activities where I actually run PUC camps and car tuning camps for all Hyundai owners. So once you start thinking of these sort of things, you will find yourself spinning off into directions that you did not ever imagine. And to me, there's no better tool than a mind map in which to do it. You don't need a fancy software. It's available on both Windows and Mac. And you can draw a mind map on a piece of paper. So I would actually recommend you guys use these as a way to sort of identify editorial buckets that you will classify your content in. Questions, thoughts on this so far? Or shall we proceed? Okay. So, we've talked about the editorial buckets. Let's talk about how we are actually going to do this. Oh, I'm sorry, my presentation is frozen. This is where it makes all the difference. This is why we work as consultants for you. The first thing to realize is that you are not the only brand in your category. It's sort of fortunate that people from similar industries are grouped around the same table, because that is where the truth of the message will hit home. You are not the only brand in your category. Nobody is just going to look for a L'Oreal or a Maruti. There are plenty of competitors, and people, when they search, they tend to search for best makeup, best watch, best car. They do not tend to search for a brand in particular, even if the brand is a market leader. This is where tone of voice comes in to differentiate your brand from the rest. Tone of voice is pretty much like a well-known and well-understood advertising term, but if I were to explain it to you, your tone of voice is how your brand would speak if your brand were a person. Okay? There are some people who are, for example, loud, aggressive. They dress in flashy, flamboyant colors. That is one sort of person. There's another one who might be on the other end of the scale, reserved, quiet, formal. Okay, and there might be people in between. Which one are you? Which one is your brand? Okay, and one sort of thing is, if you are able to nail that down, if you are able to crack what sort of a person is my brand, then if you are able to write or create content speaking like this person would, then you have created a distinctive tone of voice for your brand. So let me just mention a couple of examples. How many of you follow? Sorry, wrong question. Since you are new to Twitter, I would recommend you guys follow Hello Me Hippo on Twitter. Hello Me Hippo is the Twitter account of Hippo Munchies. Okay? Hippo is one of the cutest and coolest brands on Twitter. Okay, they speak in this very, the sort of English that you see in those stereotypical movies when a hero goes to a foreign land and the fellow at the other end is actually talking, me give you product, you give me money. They speak almost like that, and very, very endearingly. And they built up a very consistent sort of voice with this across all mediums and across all platforms. Another great brand in terms of tone of voice, which you may not see so much on Twitter, but if you follow their advertising ever, you would. Volkswagen. Okay, they're witty, they're honest, they're charming. They do not exaggerate. They do not call a suspension orbital cushioning. Okay, that is their tone of voice as a brand. When we used to work on Tata Tea back at Low, when we did the Jaguar campaign, our objective was to make Tata Tea's tone of voice honest, clever, sarcastic, and young. Very, very clear tone of voice, and if you've seen those commercials, you know what I'm referring to. What is your brand? What sort of person is your brand? Okay? How do you define this? One, you define this from the basis of what do you want to do with that brand? In the case of Tata Tea, we wanted to be seen as a brand that awakens people. You don't awaken a person out of apathy by being nice to him, right? You awaken people by being absolutely ruthlessly sarcastic and cutting, and sort of making a point in a way that it sort of pricks someone's ego. That's what we were trying to do with the brand. Two, who is your audience? Again, in the case of Tata Tea, we were talking to a younger generation. We wanted young people to like us, which is why we spoke to them in the manner that they speak to others every day. What do you want to achieve, and who are your audience? Figure out those, and you'll be halfway through figuring out your brand personality and your brand tone of voice. And I cannot emphasize how important it is, especially on social media. Let me put it this way. On my news feed, I follow both Chevrolet because I own a Chevrolet car, and Hyundai because I'm looking at buying a new car, and Maruti, and Toyota. And sometimes their posts show up in my feed one after the other. How do I make sure that my audience can pick me out from the rest? Fair? Questions? Right. Don't try to sell to your customer. You'll figure this out the hard way if you try to make your Facebook and Twitter all about your products and all about selling. You'll figure this out when people stop listening. I think all of us have gone through it at some point, where when we all started off with social media, where we try to be very aggressive about, oh my god, you must buy this is the best thing since sliced bread, but if that's all you're saying, nobody's going to listen. Instead, tell stories about your brand and your products. Amaze your audience with what the product can do for them, fit into their lifestyle. Amuse them. Talk about the world and the lifestyle that your brand promises. And we have covered this in that mind map that we were doing a few minutes ago. I'll give you an example. Recently at Jack in the Box, we did a 3-month project for Windows Phone. Now, most of you guys are aware of Windows Phone. I don't think too many of you guys are using Windows Phone. When we went to the Windows Phone Facebook page before taking it over, we realized that they sounded no different from any other brand. And we also understood that the barrier to someone buying a Windows Phone was the perception. Windows Phone does not have all the apps that an iPhone or an Android phone has, which is untrue, but people don't know about it. So we decided to do things like position Windows Phone and the apps on Windows Phone in a manner that they connected with the audience. We told stories. So it's fine to see Samsung on their page talk about a Zomato app, but they talk about the Zomato app like this. Presenting the all-new Zomato app, now you can find food, all sorts of food wherever you are. Click here to download. We pushed it a little bit. We said, what are the situations in which you really want the Zomato app? So, common everyday use. Can't decide what to eat for lunch at office this afternoon? Why not try Zomato? Are you, so IPL season was on during the time. Done with the IPL game and now your stomach is calling for attention? Try the Zomato app and find restaurants close to the stadium. We took moments in a person's life where he could use the app, and we made it relate to him. I don't have figures yet, but our clients told us that the awareness and the salience for Windows Phone increased drastically after this sort of approach. Our engagements on our page definitely did. We used to get about 50 likes before we took over. When we handed the page back to Microsoft, we were getting on average about 5,000 interactions on every single post. Yes, we had driven traffic by buying ads, and I'm not going to conceal that. But if you look at the split, we actually outdid the standard sort of measure, which is about anywhere between 10 and 20% will be organic growth. we got about 35% organic growth, which means that 35% of the people on the page were there just because of the content on the page. Make your content relatable. Be topical. These guys here, Pratik and Sudhir, are really good at that. You do some terrific content in this space, which is really topical. You got stories happening every day, whether it's Pranab Mukherjee becoming president or Shalin Chopra becoming a Playboy doll. Figure out which topics you can capitalize on and try and talk about your brand in those contexts. If you're talking about the watch brand category, unless Sherwin posed wearing a watch, it would not be a good fit. But is there some other story that you can present? Could it be about introducing a watch that is as old as Pranab Mukherjee is today? He's taken 75 years to become president, and we have a collection that's 75 years of heritage, something like that. Amul does this brilliantly. We all pass Amul hoardings every single day, and we laugh at them. They're the most brilliant topical brand I've ever seen. Take your cues from them. Apart from one aspect of being topical, rather, what's happening today? What's happening right now? What happened today, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and how can you connect it with your brand? In 2001, Ian Thorpe won 6 gold medals today. Fantastic opportunity for his sponsor to, put up a post wishing him all the very best in his retired life, or just talking about it, or talking about the athletes that they have participating at the Olympics today. Fantastic opportunity for an energy drink brand like Red Bull, to talk about this sort of stuff. If you're talking about Jackie Kennedy being born today in 1929, any fashion brand could pick it up and run a story, run a Facebook post around it, right? Because she was known to be one of the sharpest dressers of her era. Today is Dhanush's birthday, the guy who did Kolaveri, so the team that works on Sony Music will go out of their way to wish him happy birthday and bring back memories of Kolaveri. Today is World Hepatitis Day. If you have a brand that's into healthy living, whether it's through food, whether it's through mineral water, whether it's about, there's somebody here who I bumped into earlier who works in the medical industry. Sorry? Hygiene products. Why not? There's no better day than today to talk about cleanliness, health, and other things like that. Keep a track of what's happening. Wikipedia, great source. Every day log on to Wikipedia, figure out what is, and just search for 28th July, 29th July. You get a whole bunch of entries, figure out which one works for you, and make it count. Can you do a campaign around it? If I were a pharmaceutical company that manufactures drugs to treat hepatitis, today would be a brilliant day for me to run a campaign around hepatitis, awareness, symptoms, how to treat them, so on and so forth. Stories of people who've had it, chronic hepatitis, etc. And build awareness for myself and my product around its use. And there are so many such days. There's World Environment Day, Women's Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day. Pick those up, figure out how your brand can create some buzz around it, and do it. I can't emphasize more. Entertain your audience. I keep sort of bringing this up with people that I speak to about social media. If you think your audience is on Facebook and Twitter to buy hair dye, you're kidding yourself. There's a little more sort of explicit way of phrasing it that we see on Twitter every day. Please follow this gentleman. He is damn funny. At the rate of something hair. Really, really fun. So, like I said earlier, people are on Facebook to look at pictures, tag them, People are on Facebook to share silly memes from 9gag. People are on Twitter to show how clever they are. Believe me, everyone on Twitter is a comedian. Everyone. Okay? There's this guy on Twitter, and again, please follow him because he's another interesting chap. There's a guy called Ramesh Srivats. Yeah? He's insane. So Sachin will have scored his 100th 100. I mean, he'll literally be still raising his helmet to the crowd. And this guy will have come up with this deadly one-liner that just makes you want to laugh. Okay, and he does it day in and day out, and he does it for almost every news headline that you can find. If it's on Google News, it's on Ramesh Srivats' Twitter account. People are on Twitter to follow people like that. They are on Twitter to network, to connect with other like-minded people, to discover new interests and new hobbies, to position themselves as specialists in their field. They're not there to buy soap or hair dye. They're not. So please understand that, please entertain them. I'll give you a classic example. Not really a classic one. So we handle the social media duties for Red Bull. Red Bull has a globally mandated social media strategy. They've broken their social media content up into 3 parts. There's one part called the world of Red Bull content. Now, Red Bull as a brand does a lot of activities. They create a lot of content around those activities. 40% of the content that we're supposed to put out on Twitter are those activities. And there are interesting activities in the space of music, dance, Formula One, motorsport, adventure sport, so on and so forth. Another 40% is what they call playground content. So it's a YouTube clip of a guy trying to jump a cliff on his motorbike and something funny and disastrous happening to him. Okay, or it's a YouTube clip of a guy trying to do a head spin while dancing and falling down, or somebody doing a fantastic head spin or breaking a record for doing a particular head spin. That is playground content. They have 20% reserved for what they call spam. What do they define as spam? Please buy a can of Red Bull. Please come to this so and so Red Bull activity. Guess who won this so and so Red Bull activity? Please take part in this contest to win this goodies. They call it spam. That's exactly what it is. People are online to be entertained. Like I said, entertainment, information, utility. You'll get the information from your Facebook page for sure, because none of us are going to pass up the opportunity to put up product stuff. But please entertain them. Please give them something to laugh at every single day, or something that touches them, and they'll keep coming back for more. Your content mix. I touched upon this earlier. It doesn't have to be plain text all the time. It can be videos, it could be audio embeds, you could run polls, you could have links to interesting articles around your industry or your category that you have discovered online. You could have videos, audio, anything. Facebook has a built-in polls feature. Are you guys aware of that? Yeah? Run a poll. It's a great way to sort of get feedback, to check engagement and interest levels. You can use it for almost anything. You can use it for, have you tried the new XYZ product? Yes, no. How do you rate our flagship XYZ product? Good, average, bad. Ask opinion questions. It doesn't just have to be about your product. Do you think it's time for Sachin to be dropped from the Indian team, if it makes sense for your brand? And if you are willing to face a backlash? Yes, no, maybe. Ask questions. Even at the end of your post, there's no reason why in the writing of your post itself you cannot have a question. And please don't beg your audience, click like if you like this joke or post. Ask a question that makes sense. Would you use this product? When would you use this product? Tell us about the best experience you had while mountain climbing, if you are a manufacturer of shoes. Ask questions. Get people engaged. The writing of your content is also critical as part of your content mix. Yes?
Can I ask a question?
Please.
When we say that besides text we can use n number of other things.
Yeah.
Just curious to know if I want to put up a
question.
corporate
Excellent question.
see, as an individual, I might do it,
Yes.
but as a corporate, where I'm attached to a company, a brand, a logo, can I actually do that?
Yes and no. I think Sudhir will have a much better perspective on this legal mind. You want to just come in and
To answer that question, the answer is no. In the social media space, you can lift content from blogs, and from websites, but only if you have taken permission from the blog or the website and you give them due credit. In today's day and age, due to the evolution and the pure accessibility of so much content, people don't appreciate it if you haven't knocked on their door and kind of asked them for permission first. And because there's so much accessibility of content, available online, the route and the means to track this content has become very narrow now. So for instance, if you're using someone's content without their permission, they're going to slap you with a legal lawsuit before you know what hits the fan. So it's much easier to avoid doing so than to take the risk, even if you have, there's loads of access to content out there that you can legally license. You can legally purchase images for as cheap as 2,000 or 3,000 rupees, or even free access images that are royalty free as well. So it makes a lot more sense to access these royalty free images or pay for the royalties and licenses, as opposed to going to images.google.com, ripping off an image and bothering about the consequences of it a week later when you get a cease and desist notice.
And what about things like, maybe songs or tracks that you want to put up as a part of it, because you want to run on your page? What does that involve?
that is a big area for me.
So for audiovisual and audio content, the corporate veil is lifted when you cross either 10 or 30 seconds respectively of content. So if you're using audio content of over 10 seconds for a commercial purpose, or 30 seconds for a non-commercial purpose, that's where the corporate veil gets lifted. Even if this content is uploaded by you, in all likelihood it will be uploaded onto YouTube or SoundCloud. You won't upload directly onto Facebook, you'll put it into Facebook from YouTube or SoundCloud. So YouTube will flag this content the minute it crosses 30 seconds. It'll post it to the publisher, saying, you know what, hey Universal Music, this guy has used your music in this video. What do you want to do about it? So Universal Music will say, we will claim rights to the music, but let him use it since it's for non-commercial purposes. The minute you make a representation for sale, they will flag it down and disbar you from using it.
And what about if I'm enabling some sort of user-generated content and they put some objectionable content?
You have the right to remove it. You have absolute right to remove
But
it.
any legal issue which happened,
No.
it should happen, no or no?
Are they putting it up on your page? Are you?
Yeah.
You own the page, right?
Yeah.
What can they
Because
do?
because sometimes the page is not monitored for say continuously 24/7. If somebody put it on say Friday afternoon, I haven't checked, it's there for 48 hours. I mean this thing happened on websites, forums,
Which is
etc.
why 2 or 3 slides later we get into the importance of monitoring your page 24/7. Yes, I think there's a couple of questions.
What about the using of logos? So let's suppose today is India-Sri Lanka match. So to engage with the fans, I put up a logo of India.
You are not allowed to.
Unless you're officially representing the brand that sponsors the team, or officially representing a team by itself, you can't use that logo.
And just to make it clear, you're not allowed to use any cricket images that belong to the BCCI on your pages. No cricket images, no cricket videos,
And no T-series.
no T-series.
They are the worst.
Yeah, let's leave it at that.
They are the worst.
You can use Kolaveri because I think they've allowed people to use it, but I'll double check and get back to you on that.
Is there any reference point which we can use, maybe a website or a book or something
Reddit.
to go through the kind of protocols we need to follow?
I'm not so sure. I think there is something called the Creative Commons license, under which there's some images that and video content that you can pick, but I don't think there's a single sort of thing. The best thing to do is, if you picked up an image and you are using it, give credit. If it's a genuine mistake, you will apologize for it later, but be prepared to pay if it's a really big mistake. There was one more question from somebody up there. No? Fine. Any more thoughts on legal issues and ripping off the content? So, not only 2-3 slides ahead, sir, the next slide itself. People talk back and they don't necessarily say nice things. I think for about a week into handling Windows Phone, about 80% of the comments that we were getting was Windows Phone sucks, buy an Android. Why are you all here? This doesn't have this feature, it's shit, buy iOS. Why are you, what do? You can't do anything, right? You can. Response is equally important, as important as the content that you're putting on. I'm not going to get into the technical details of listening and all of that because that's another session in itself. But a few sort of genuine tips. Now, I haven't covered the offensive one, but I'll start with that. If somebody is posting abusive, vulgar, objectionable content, you have every right to first, you can ban him and you can delete his comments. I would usually first delete the comment and then post on his wall saying, in the interest of other users of this page, I would urge you or request you not to use objectionable content. If he still continues, ban him. He's not a user you want on your page. And he's just going to upset everyone else. What happens when you get a comment? So typically, you'll find yourself in a good space. Mostly people will be asking you about product information. Oh, I can't get this product here. Or how much does this cost? Or does this come in blue, green and yellow? Okay. Simple queries, which you should answer. If you don't answer, you'll get a backlash, but you should answer. But generally, as a response sort of theme, a few things that I put down. Be honest. If you screwed up, admit it. Okay, there's no point saying, oh no, we didn't do anything wrong. Don't overpromise. Apologize if you are wrong. A couple of months ago, I was sort of victim to really bad treatment from a brand. So, have you guys been to this burger place called Burgs India? Burgs on Bandra? So I walked in there one day and I asked for a burger. I am allergic to raw tomatoes. So I said, could you please remove the tomatoes? They said, no, it's company policy, we can't. We can't. So I said, why? Is it nailed down to the burger? No, we can't. But we urge you to remove it yourself. If you're allergic to food, you don't want any food particles of that, type on your burger. I got upset, I walked out. The next day I wrote a blog post about it. And I posted up. And then I went hunting for every food site I could find to post reviews. And I put up the blog post on Twitter. In about an hour, I had 30 people talking about tomatoes on Twitter. In about 2 hours, there were about 300 people talking about tomatoes on Twitter. All of them castigating Burgs India. Why did everyone jump onto Burgs India? We looked at their Twitter page. I looked at their Twitter page. They have been rude to people. So somebody actually walked in, okay, and this guy's a foodie. He's a well-known foodie on social networks. His name is Adarsh Munjal. The Big Hookard is his ID. Please follow him. Another interesting guy. I'm full of these. Adarsh gave Burgs a negative review. They posted back saying, oh, do you spend as much time promoting your good reviews as you are spending in promoting your bad reviews? Big mistake. Another guy, a photographer, a well-known photographer on Twitter, posted a negative review. Guess we won't be seeing you again. They came in with an attitude. So all these very same people who Burgs had sort of shown attitude to jumped onto the tomato bandwagon. That was the day Satyamev Jayate launched. Okay, and if Satyamev Jayate hadn't launched that day, tomatoes would have been trending on Twitter. At the end of the day, Burgs, it on Trends map, not in the pane. At the end of the day, Burgs changed their policy. By 4 p.m. that afternoon, they had changed their policy because Twitter backlash forced them to do that. Their announcement when they changed the policy was, due to overwhelming public demand, we are now making tomatoes optional. There was this chap called Tanmay, he's a comedian. So he posted up saying on Burgs India, Gaddafi didn't leave Libya because of overwhelming public opinion, but because he got his ass handed to him. So it was a fun afternoon, and that's exactly what can go wrong on social media. They still haven't apologized to me. So I have no issues in talking about them openly right now. But a little bit, sorry.
Similar thing happened with the car brand. I'm not taking it, but they deleted reviews. And what happened is that one of the user has his own forum. So he started putting it on Facebook, and then he asked his all followers to put continuously on Facebook. They started deleting it, and it was a huge chaos. I know the people involved. That's why I'm the brand.
The best thing I can tell you, sir, if you can find out who that social media agency was, don't hire them.
Yeah.
But a little bit of humor, in situations that are tough, can really diffuse a situation. There was this time when I think someone from UNICEF, by mistake, he tweeted on the UNICEF account rather than his own account, mentioning a brand of beer. And it was like a little politically incorrect post. Quick backlash happened, but the UNICEF guys removed it, said, hey, we are sorry about that post. Okay, but you know what, that beer is really good. Then the beer brand capitalized and ran a contest of its own around that drink. There are ways to diffuse these sort of situations. A little apology, a little warmth, a little humanity goes a long way. Response time. This is what I tell my copywriters at office. On Twitter, aim to reply within the hour. You don't have to solve the problem within the hour. Just reply, yes sir, we've received your tweet and we're looking into it and we'll get back to you. That's enough. On Facebook, 12 to 24 hours usually works for most categories unless it is something like a telecom. Airtel, Vodafone are the most hated brands on Facebook and Twitter. Sorry?
We handled them for 2 months, we couldn't handle it, so we left it.
There's the story. Vodafone actually employs a team of some 60 people down south to
only
do response. And their only job is copy paste formatted answers into Facebook and Twitter and say, our call center will call you back.
In fact, I did a study, 99.9% of their tweets are answering consumers.
Exactly. A tip, please set up Facebook and Twitter on your smartphone. Connect your personal account, connect your brand account. If you do not have a smartphone, please go buy one. I recommend the HTC One X if anyone's interested. Just a few sort of tips on Facebook. Now, Facebook has something called a hierarchy of posts. So, did you guys cover this by any chance? No? Okay. This is the order in which they give priority to posts appearing in a user's newsfeed. Now, the thing you have to understand about Facebook is not everything that your page publishes will go to all its fans. If you've got 100 fans on your Facebook page, not every post will reach those 100 fans. There's a very clear reason why, but I'll get to it. On average, a Facebook post reaches about 9 to 10% is what we figured out from our pages and studies. Facebook claims 18% but doesn't deliver 18%. It will only reach 9 or 10 people unless the people have manually clicked show this brand's posts in my newsfeed, which is frankly something that not too many people are aware of. Facebook shows the likelihood of your post showing up on Facebook is higher if you've got a picture in your post, if your post just has a picture and some text. The second is just text. The third is a video, or even if it's a YouTube video embedded. And the fourth is links that take you outside Facebook. It's a simple reason, it comes down to money. Facebook can't monetize the YouTube videos that you're embedding here. Facebook doesn't want you going away from Facebook to some other site because then you might not come back that day. There are ways to get around it. One, if you want to increase your reach, spend some money on sponsored stories and promoted posts. Two, if you're putting up something like a video, what we've started doing and we know it works better, take a screenshot from that video and write your post like you were just uploading an image. But in the text matter, put a bit.ly URL. You're seeing it's getting higher sort of traction. Facebook hasn't quite stumbled upon to it yet.
Isn't the links the last?
So, the link is the last, but it looks at the image first. It sees it as an image post. That's what I'm saying. They haven't quite figured it out yet. We've been getting higher traction. Is it foolproof? Can Facebook pick it up tomorrow? Yes. So far, it seems to be working. Sorry?
Didn't follow the last one.
What I'm saying is, okay, say if I've got a video post. Video is number 3 on my priority, but I know that images are number 1 on priority. Take a screenshot from your video. Write your post as an image post. So upload photo, write a description. Within the description of that photo, put a URL. Put a bit.ly shop link. Okay, which leads you to the video on YouTube, outside of Facebook. Facebook picks it up as an image post and gives it a little more priority. The thing about Facebook is that it's extremely unpredictable when it comes to its content rules. This 9% thing came out of the blue for most of us.
And what is the logic? Have you able to figure out logic? I mean, if you have say 100 fans, what
Sorry?
is it? They never share it.
They never shared the logic, but one can guess that they want you to spend money on promoted posts. If you've been reading about Facebook, their biggest problem is monetization. They haven't yet nailed it. So they sort of, and their share prices have plummeted after the IPO because they haven't been able to monetize. So this is, I think, an effort to monetize Facebook, to force monetization upon it. Similarly, and I guess these guys could have touched upon this, on the new Facebook timeline that now has rolled out over the last few months. You remember on Facebook brand pages earlier we used to have welcome tabs and things like that. We used to be greeted by this beautifully designed image, and all that has gone out of the window. The tabs are buried away. They're hidden. Unless you spend money on driving traffic to them, they will not get you engagement. Studies have shown that tab engagement has dropped by 53% since Facebook shifted to timeline. You need to do great content and you need to drive traffic to your tabs when you're doing them. We typically recommend 2 to 3 posts a day depending on the category and the brand and how active it is and what sort of content. If you're a manufacturer of, say, X-ray imaging machinery, perhaps you do not want to do 3 posts a day, maybe you want to do just 1 and on occasion 2. If you're a cosmetics brand, you've got a lot to talk about, you want to do 3 posts a day. I don't know whether these guys agree with me, but my take on length of a post is slightly different. Most people will tell you keep it short. On Windows Phone, we've sort of got engagement, fantastic engagement, some of the longest, most involved posts that you could think of. We literally took apps, took screenshots, frame by frame of how to navigate that app, and put that up as a photo album with descriptions around each, and those posts gained us magnificent traction. The point is this: there's no such thing as long post or short post. There is only such a thing as too long a post, and it gets too long when it stops being interesting. So what I'm trying to say is, don't worry so much right now about how long your post is. Make it interesting. Capture your audience's attention with a beautiful picture, with the first line of your post, and with some simple sort of thought into making that content relevant. You'll be fine. The last little bit of gyan that I will give you on Facebook is use apps and tabs when you need to build engagement. Some examples. Currently, Guess Watches is looking for a fashion blogger. It's a global competition. They built an app where you have to create a look of your own using various clothes and accessories, and that sort of is your qualifying round. So they're doing it as part of the contest. Simple things. We built an app for one of our brands. It's a hair care product, where we actually took that hair care product and did an online consultation within a tab. So you enter your hair type, how often you wash your hair, so on and so forth, and it puts out a result and says, this is the product that you should be using within our range. Use apps and tabs cleverly to sort of build engagement. On Sony Music, when we're releasing a new band album, we put up the video in a tab, we put up download links for ringback tones, and we put up links to the e-store so that people can go and buy the track or the CD. On Twitter, and just briefly, have a conversation. Don't spout monologues. If you're going to just keep talking rather than responding and interacting with people, if you're just going to be talking, today I woke up late. Today I went to office late. Today I ate pav bhaji for lunch. Okay, nobody's going to follow you. Nobody's going to engage with you. Use TweetDeck as a Twitter client. How many of you guys are already familiar with TweetDeck or have heard of it?
Just heard.
Heard? Okay. Won't get into the mechanisms of using TweetDeck. But once your Twitter profile has started gaining some traction, I would suggest that you use TweetDeck. Use it for your personal account as well as your brand's Twitter account. I say TweetDeck because it's a lovely listening tool. It's got separate columns, so it works in terms of columns. There's a column where your whole timeline shows, another column for your messages, another column for your mentions, a column for people who have favorited your tweets or added you as followers. You can track trends, you can add columns for different searches for your product, for your hashtag. You can create Twitter lists of people who you think are influential for you and track those. So all of that within one app, within one sort of window. TweetDeck's available for both Windows, Mac as well as a Chrome browser extension. So get familiar with it. It's a lovely listening tool that helps you be more active because it lets you find people easily, retweet their content, so on and so forth.
So how do you do it?
Just go to tweetdeck.com. I already touched upon this. A lot of people who are new to Twitter make this sort of mistake. The other mistake a lot of people do is they keep piling on to people, and usually girls, and saying, please be friends with me. There's a joke in office that if you make your Twitter display sexy, flash a sexy smile or something like that, or show yourself in a short dress or something, you'll get a lot of followers that day. And it's true, it's worked with quite a few of my friends in office. So these are things to avoid. Thank you. For you yourself and your brand. Build influence through networking, content, and conversation. We look at Twitter as an influencer medium. Okay, Twitter is a more intelligent crowd than Facebook. A lot of people have actually given up Facebook for Twitter. On Twitter, people sort of talk about the things that they love, the hobbies that they follow, their interests, their specialties. So I tweet a lot about social media, I tweet a lot about digital marketing because that's one thing I'm interested in. I also tweet a lot about Formula One, I also tweet a lot about cocktails because I like to bartend. That's how you become well known within your circles, right? And there are people already within those circles who have built up that influence. Reach out to them, activate them. Let's go back to that watch brand. Why not use your influencers on Twitter? So pull them in, do a little party with them, on ground. Invite a bunch of people who are influential in fashion, in style, in watches, to a party, make them do something interesting, and then ask them to tweet out about this fantastic new contest you're running, and they'll do it for you. Influencer marketing is, again, it's a topic for a longer session. But please look at Twitter as a network where you can build your own and your brand's influence. So we sort of covered this exhaustively, so I'm going to skip hashtags. A quick recap of some gaffes and boo-boos to avoid. These are sort of things that get us fired from our jobs as social media agencies. Don't be rude, don't be arrogant. Birds India hired a social media agency that day. Till that point, the owner was managing it. Avoid racism and casteism. We're not here to be rude and evil. People are generally very nice to each other on Twitter. They answer questions. So if somebody on my timeline posts a question saying, do you know a good place to live, good hotel to live in Shanghai, even if I do not know the answer, I will retweet it so that somebody in my network might know the answer, right? And you usually get that answer. I once put out a call for someone. I said, is anyone coming down from London? Need to pick up some medicine from there. I got 30 people replying to me saying, I know this one, this one, this one. Eventually I got my medicine through Twitter. Yeah, another aspect. Gay jokes sort of blow up in your face. They're the easiest to pick on. We've goofed in the past. Somebody mistakenly posted a gay joke onto a brand's page. We deleted it in about 30 seconds, but in 30 seconds we got 2 replies. We managed the situation with a lot of calm and a lot of, humility. And we were genuinely sorry, but you don't do that. You don't put out these sort of things. Racist jokes, casteist jokes, gay jokes. avoidable. Never respond to only positive reviews. Okay, again, I've been at the receiving end of it. I was at Blue Frog some time ago for an Indian Ocean concert, quite some time ago. And the place was overpacked. Okay, they had let in more people than could fit. There was a girl in our group who passed out in front of us. And I was tweeting there, I was trying to reach the manager, couldn't. I was tweeting there saying, guys, please stop letting people in. There are people fainting here. They didn't. They didn't reply. In fact, when people were tweeting, oh my god, Indian Ocean, I wish I could have been there, they were replying saying, sorry, it's overfull, don't worry, they'll come back again. So that leaves a very bad taste in your mouth as a follower of a particular brand. You don't want your concerns to not be addressed. Put yourself in your audience's shoes. Your negative comments need to be answered first. So we touched upon this with the restaurant example when he said, I'm really sorry for your experience, can I give you free dessert to make it up the next time? Simple things. Don't knock your competition. Let your advertising do that if you have to. Let your advertising tell the world that the Alto gives better mileage than the Santro. Don't necessarily need to put it out blatantly upfront on Twitter because people will just get pissed off. Do it in an interesting way. Another example, Windows Phone globally ran this thing called Smoked by Windows Phone. They ran an on-ground contest on-ground event where they invited people to come and test their Androids, iOS, BlackBerry phones against a Windows phone. Who can post to Facebook the fastest? Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn the fastest. Because on Windows Phone you can post to all three at one shot. Who can click a picture the fastest and upload it to Facebook and tag it the fastest? It's a fantastic way of showcasing how much better your product is, right? But they didn't say, oh, Windows Phone rocks at this while iOS sucks. They didn't put out those sort of things. They just said, watch this Delhi boy being smoked by a Windows Phone. Okay, and if you go onto YouTube, look up Delhi boy being smoked by a Windows Phone, and it's a hilarious video. But that's how to do it. Okay, it doesn't piss off people, and in fact engages them. And I know a lot of Apple and Android fans, myself included, who clicked like on that video and shared it among our networks. So that's pretty much it from me. At this point, questions, thoughts, feedback, I mean anything that you want to ask. So didn't want to cover LinkedIn because we felt it would be a bit of an overload. LinkedIn, frankly, is a professional networking forum, right? Brands use it to either build influence within particular circles. So, say I am a brand that's about, say I am Parle, I am into foods and beverages, then I will be involved in groups and forums that discuss these sort of things. I don't use it as a direct selling tool, I use it as a professional networking tool to find talent, to engage talent. Does your brand need LinkedIn? Is your first question.
For me, LinkedIn is a brand.
Is
We
a-
are in recruitment, no? So
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah.
So for you it would be.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, on LinkedIn, my only sort of input to you would be, it's not personal, it's professional. Do not sit and post your birthday party pictures on LinkedIn, it's inappropriate. Rather post great content that you can either create or curate. What would go hand in hand with the LinkedIn strategy is a blog. When I decided that I was getting into digital, I started writing a blog on digital, and it really helped because as I started promoting my blog on LinkedIn, I got noticed by a lot of people. And there's no reason why you can't apply the same sort of thing to your brand. So if your brand is about HR and recruitment, then maybe you need to curate content from sites like Fast Company and Inc.com and write your own blog about recruitment, what people are looking for, specific industries, challenges, so on and so forth, and position yourself that way. Do not try to directly say, come and hire me, I will find you the best people. Or, yeah.
How do you promote your blog?
Seed it to as many people as you can. I use Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, StumbleUpon, Dig and Reddit. I post up there, I try to carry on conversations where appropriate around it. So if for example, For example, I wrote a blog post about the Berg's tomato incident, and I tweeted it out to everybody who had helped push Tomatogate viral, and they retweeted it, and a lot more people therefore got to see it. So that's one way of sort of doing this. Yes. Sorry? Very targeted, very expensive from what I understand, but I'm not the right person to ask that. That's pretty much a media question. Yes.
I heard that there are several agencies which can increase your Facebook likes. What is your view on that?
Yes. Scams. They basically create fake profiles, and they create thousands of fake profiles, and they